So, welcome to EduTap and good afternoon, everyone. I am Surbhi Sardana, and we are starting here ACE answer writing session for RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination. If the audio is clear to you, if you can hear my voice properly, and the screen is clear to you, the things written on the screen, they are clear to you, then let me know in the chat section. Let us know in the chat section with a thumbs up, a good afternoon, or any sort of thing that you would like to send. And then we'll begin our today's discussion. So yes, all right. Again, extending a very warm welcome to ACE answer writing session for RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination. Welcome to EduTap. We feel very happy when we become a part of your success journey. So we have been running a lot of initiatives live on our YouTube channel for your RBI Grade B examination. And today is going to be the last discussion, last lecture for this ACE answer writing session. Today we are at Management Part 3. If you are somebody who's watching this video for the first time, if you're somebody new, then definitely check the previous videos. They are available in the live section. When you click on EduTap, you get a live section on top. In the live section, all the videos regarding answer writing, descriptive part, they are available, so you can definitely check them out. All right, good afternoon Aman, good afternoon Jakin, and welcome back both of you. So yes, I know it's quite a bit late for this advertisement to be running because you just have your exam around. But even now, if you're feeling that you do not have the right quality content available, you can subscribe to this live crash course. Or if you need any sort of test series, you can buy our test series. They are at, both of these courses, they are at 50% discount. And these test series, the feedback would be provided the next day itself. We are very quick with our feedbacks. So yes, objective and descriptive both tests would be there, and in the live crash course you will not just have access to live classes, but short notes and mind maps are there, and trust me, with the help of these mind maps you will be able to understand and retain a lot of concepts. So yes, moving on, first of all, always tell yourself that you can write great answers. We'll start our class and all our exams on a very positive note. Just keep telling yourself that yes, you will and you can write great answers. So focus on that. This is the plan, and according to the plan, we started on July 14, and here we are. Here we are at Management Part 3. So we are ending the session. We are concluding the session today. And all of you just live practice with me so that you can apply what you learn. Practice the typing here itself. All right, I do wait for your responses. I will be giving you prompts, and today we are going to discuss a very important question. So live practice with me. These are the management topics that we have done. We've done management, we've done leadership, we've done HRD, human resource development, not any question asked. Motivation, morale and incentives, this was done, this was taken yesterday. Yesterday we took a philosophical question which does not have a clue how to write such answers. Today one of the topics is communication. So communication again is very objective. The more important topic here is corporate governance. Corporate governance has been making news for the past many years, especially for the past 6 months because of various, companies falling because of fraud, scams, and corporate governance has been perpetually in news, especially for the past 6 months. So not just understanding basic corporate governance, but inculcating the current knowledge, current affairs, current situations, current processes in them. That will make sure, that will make a difference to your answer. So we are taking a very important question on corporate governance today. Again, reiterating the 4-step approach that we take to write our answers. We identify the keywords and qualifying words in our question. Keywords are the topics. They should appear in our answers all the time. And qualifying words, basically these are the opinions of examiner or the opinion that has been demanded from us. Always recognize the directive and write accordingly. Then framing micro questions, that is basically we divide the question into multiple parts and we address those multiple parts one by one. Do not forget, address these micro questions in the order in which they appear in your question. So do not address the second part first or the third part first. Start with the first micro question, then move on to the other ones. And then we start writing a structured answer with an introduction, body and conclusion. All right, so that's your answer blueprint. It comes, it comes exclusively here. When you download the PDF for this session from our Telegram channel, you can go through this answer blueprint. It has a lot of points which will make a difference to your answer writing. Now, finally, let's begin writing our answers. I'll cut short this session a lot today because, the exam is approaching and I know you cannot watch really long sessions. So yes, the question is very straightforward, but I want all of you to be very creative here. Yes, good afternoon, Khushbu, and welcome back. So explain corporate governance and its importance. What are the challenges associated with corporate governance in India? Answer in 600 words. So how will you start this answer? First of all, I think the keyword is clear. Keyword is corporate governance, and you have to emphasize on its importance. The first directive is explain. Explain is the directive 1. That means your micro question 1 would be explain corporate governance. Second one would be what is its importance? What is its importance? This is micro question 2. And third micro question would be what are the challenges associated with corporate governance in India? That is exactly this. So you have 3 micro questions here, and if I divide the first and second part, they will hold equal marks. So first part has explain corporate governance and its importance. Second one is what are the challenges associated with corporate governance in India. Also, always remember, I'm saying, let's say this is for 15 marks, right? We are easily able to divide this into 2 parts. So we can presume that this is for 7.5 marks and the second part is for 7.5 marks again. But you might see questions in which equal division is not there, or it is not possible. Don't worry in such questions. Don't worry about such questions. If you know as a well-read aspirant that there is no more theory on this, you can directly move on to answer the second part. Probably the second part is a bit longer. All right, so answer it in a very justified way. Do not worry about that, that equal distribution has to be followed. Yes, it has to be followed, but you never know that you might see an exception as well. Under all circumstances, it must be followed. The first part has 7.5 marks weightage. The second part also has 7.5 marks weightage. But in case if it changes and you are able to perceive that change, you are able to feel that change, be very flexible about it and be very, calm about it in the exam. So how will we start this answer? Just let me know in the chat section. Today I will not give a lot of prompts. I will not tell you what you have to write in introduction or whatever, but I'm again and again emphasizing this is a very important, and inculcate all the new facts that we have added in this answer. So yes, explain corporate governance and its importance. So you have to start from this part. How will you start this answer? Yes, Khushbu, Aman and Jacqueline, let me know in the chat section. Explain corporate governance and its importance. Will you start with a definition of corporate governance? Will you start with explanation about corporate governance? You cannot start with importance of corporate governance because that is going to be your first body part. That is going to be the body part or body para 1. So what will you do? Introduction about corporate governance, CG. Okay, define CG, define corporate governance. So yes, my request to you, do not use the word definition. Corporate governance is defined as. Just say corporate governance is or corporate governance refers to. So how do we start our introduction? We talk about the keywords. We have a conversation with the examiner about keywords, just like a conversation with a friend. So if you are, being nudged to explain corporate governance and its importance, what you start with is, you start with basics. You explain that what is it, why, how is it regulated in India? How is it conducted in India? Do you remember any laws or any regulatory body behind corporate governance in India? Any one of you? Do you remember any body or any law with regards to corporate governance in India? Any regulatory body? So see, definition everybody would be writing, but if you can inculcate some laws or at least one law and one regulatory body, whosoever is behind it. Yes, there. Yes, Decipher. Decipher, are you new or are you like present here for the first time? Okay, CG is policy and system of rules by which companies govern. Yes, SEBI, LODR regulations. That's right, Amit. So in the introduction, we don't have much scope because everything about corporate governance has been asked in the question. So yes, what we'll do is we'll define and then we'll say how is corporate governance regulated or how is it happening in India. And all right, so corporate governance, this is the basic definition. You can have one line definition also. This is taken from a source directly. It has been copied from a source, so that's why it's long. You can have definitions in your own words also. Secondly, for those of you who have taken our course, EduTap course for RBI Grade B, the gold course or any package that you've taken. So see, there are different definitions of corporate governance according to various organizations. SEBI has a different definition. OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, they have a different definition. So since this is a separate part of your syllabus, just after this class, have a definition which you like. There would be 5-6 definitions appearing on Google. Have a definition which you will write in the exam and you will quote that according to OECD, this is corporate governance, or according to SEBI, this is corporate governance. It adds more weight to your answer. So corporate governance refers to the system of rules, practices and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. It plays a crucial role in ensuring that businesses are run ethically and in the best interest of the stakeholders. The principles of corporate governance aim at securing shareholders' wealth, enhancing the wealth by proper use of assets, and maintenance of wealth through profitable ventures. So basically, look at this again. First line defines it. Corporate governance refers to the... So now, businesses are run ethically and in the best interest of the stakeholders. But you will not write a lot about importance. You will just highlight the importance because the importance part has to appear in our body part. So just in one line or maximum 2 lines, highlight that why is it, what role does corporate governance play, or why corporate governance exists. I think that would be the right approach, right? Why does it exist? So the principles of corporate governance, what is the aim of corporate governance or the principles of corporate governance? Secure shareholders' wealth, enhance the wealth by proper use of assets, and maintenance of wealth through profitable ventures. All right, so that's your first part of introduction. All right, Decipher, you've never typed any response, so that's why I asked this question. Welcome. Now talk about the legalities that you know. There is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, correct me if I'm wrong. Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, are responsible for corporate governance initiatives in India. Correct or not? Correct. The Companies Act 2013, Companies Act, this is not Company Act, it's Companies Act. Companies Act 2013 provides a formal structure for corporate governance by enhancing disclosures, reporting and transparency through enhanced as well as new compliance norms. Or you can very well end your answer at the Companies Act 2013 provides a formal structure for corporate governance in India. All right, so Khushbu, I think that's the, yes, transparency, equity, fairness, disclosure are the principles of corporate governance. Yes, you can, all of you, I'm sure you must have prepared the principles of corporate governance as well. So you can talk about the principles, you can write the principles in one line. Or you can talk about that what is the aim of corporate governance or what is the role of corporate governance, why does it exist. Now let's move on to the importance part. All right, and see, the part of the question which has appeared in current affairs, that is the part which will carry a lot of marks. So here the second part, challenges associated with corporate governance in India that carries more marks, or at least, it will decide that how much marks you are allocated by the examiner in total. So yes, equal allocation is there, but more impact would be about what you write in the second part, because that is updated information. About the other parts, they are just static information. So make sure whenever there is some dynamic part to your question, there is a micro question which has some dynamic issue, current issue, make sure you address that very effectively. Okay, so let's move on and we talk about the importance. Corporate governance holds immense importance. This can be explained using the following points. So what is the importance of corporate governance? Before I display the points in front of you, what is the importance of corporate governance in India? Or general, they've not asked it with respect to India. Importance of corporate governance is like generally asked. So why is it important? Securing shareholders' wealth. But Jakin, we have written securing shareholders' wealth here as well. So you can paraphrase, you can write some other word for that, okay? All right, other points. Ensuring transparency. And other people? See, first of all, any kind of corporate governance or ethical corporate governance, it will increase trust of people. All right, let's start with profits. Let's start with the economic benefit. So yes, trust of shareholders will be restored, but let's talk from the society perspective. People will have faith in that corporate. People will have faith in that company. So profits of that company will increase. How will they increase? Let's see. So ethical corporate governance helps in increasing the profit as it increases customer loyalty, enhances brand image, and caters to customer services and satisfaction. Not just this, you can address customer problems very effectively. With ethical business practices, complaints and issues of customers are solved transparently, leading to trust in the corporation. So first is your economic benefit. Why are your corporates existing? They are existing for profits. They are existing for corporate benefits. So what is the biggest aim of corporates? To make profits. So talk about the profit as your first point. Because everybody is writing shareholders' wealth. Everybody is writing transparency. Why is it all needed? In the general public interest, so that profits can increase. Finally, it leads to better relationships among stakeholders. There could be shareholders. That enhances performance of organizations. If all the shareholders or stakeholders, they have good relations in them, then performance of organization, product quality, that goes up. Then, robust governance practices create positive sentiment in the minds of investors and the public at large. In the public and investors especially, what happens? There are more investors coming to your country. So the entire economy, it gets a boost. All right. When some big company fails because of, unethical practices in a company, investment in your country goes down because people lose faith in that country or that country's corporate governance practices. So this is very important. Then good corporate ethics improve the situations of employee as well. We talked about profits, trust. Now we are talking about the employees working in that organization. All right. And that is very important because that's the whole purpose of management. The management part of your syllabus, the whole purpose is this, to take that 360-degree approach. People, profits, employees, managers, leaders, everything. So good corporate ethics improves the situation of the employee. It leads to higher retention and better morale. When you have higher retention and better morale in a company, what happens? Company grows. It also leads to a more effective recruitment process. In the long run, company realizes what kind of people we want. So more effective recruitment process will be there. Because company will know that we are recruiting a person for, let's say, 5 years or 10 years, not for just 1 and 2 years. More effective recruitment process. Loyalty. motivation and productivity in the company. Then good corporate ethics also enhances overall business performance, particularly leading to improved competitive advantage through good governance, higher financial returns, and better reputation. So, such kind of companies which have good corporate governance, they are in a better position to fight in the market with their competitors, to compete in the market, because their product quality improves because of better coordination. People have trust in their products, so they buy more. Hence, the company generates more profits. They're able to retain their employees. Employee retention is higher. Loyalty of employees is higher. More and more investment comes to the country or to that corporate itself. People have, or investors have, more faith in that company. All right. So these 4 points, just understand them and highlight them in your answer. Do not repeat the same definition again and again. All right. Whenever you have to write about corporates, corporates are business entities. They work for public, they work for employees, they work for society. They also work for their shareholders' interest. All right. Anything that you want to add here, all of you? Yes, Decipher, Amit, Jakan, Khushbu, Aman. Anything you want to add here? Or any new point that you found here? See, every point has to be different, and most important point should appear first. All right. Sustainable growth of organization. Yes, that's right. With sustainable growth, can you say that the organization is more becomes more environment friendly and people friendly in the long run? Environment friendly practices can be adopted by such organizations. So that's why corporate governance is important. It helps corporates to employ environment friendly practices. Can we talk about corporate social responsibility here? Yes, you can talk about that. Effective CSR is there. New ideas for using CSR funds, they can come up with the help of corporate governance. Long-term growth of organization. Yes, just have 4-5 points from everyone's perspective, from people's perspective, from environment's perspective, from government's perspective, from shareholders' perspective, from investors' perspective, and then write, in the long run, all these factors combined, they are extremely beneficial for growth of organization for the long run. You can easily write 5-6 points if you talk about one perspective in each of your points. Yes, society perspective. Society, when you talk about environment, amalgamate the society perspective with environment itself. Such organ socially responsible, to be more responsible towards the society, so that they launch the product. They are ethically sourced products. These are good for the environment. These are good for the society. These products which are launched by these corporates. All right. So with every answer where you're finding it a problem, to find points, have 4-5 perspectives. आपके points ऐसे ही खत्म हो जाएंगे. You will be able to write at least 5 points for every answer this way. All right. But for that you will have to imagine the entire scenario. What is an organization or what is a corporate? Why is it running? It is running for making profits. Whom is it making products for? For people and society. Who is making the products, or who is involved? Whose money is involved? Investors. These are your stakeholders. Who else is involved in the process? Government. All right, so talk about that. Where are the products? Which resources are being used? Environmental resources, they are being used to generate products. All right, or societal resources or environmental resources can be in any form. Direct natural resources or indirect finances, money. Now moving on to second part. The second part of the question demands us, what are the challenges associated with corporate governance in India? So, I recommend that before moving on to the challenges, first of all, think that why the challenges question has been asked. Why do you think challenges with regards to corporate governance in India have been asked? Challenges associated with corporate governance in India. Why this question is there with respect to India? Can you write one line on that? That why this question has been asked? Yes, major layoffs, Byju's failure. Yes, that's right. So highly expected question. And there have been from time to time. We implemented LPG reforms in 1991. Before that, there were no disciplined corporate rules in India. All the rules have come after that, most of them. And a lot of frauds and scams have been seen. And whenever these frauds or scams happen, the people of the country, they are at the loss. The reputation of the country is at loss. More investment in your country, that doesn't happen. All right. So these are the problems. So just say because of the recurrent frauds and scams in our country, especially as seen in the recent cases of, and you can mention the companies there, whichever you're writing in the chat section, especially as seen in the case of these companies. So that's why corporate governance has become important in India. But also the issues associated with corporate governance in India, they have come to the limelight. And we can discuss these issues as follows. So yes, in the Indian context, the need for corporate governance has been pointed because of the frauds like the Harshad Mehta fraud, Ketan Parekh scam, UTI fraud, Bhansali scam, and so on. I'm sure you must have read these names. So make sure you're able to type them there. The recent fall down of EdTech giant Byju's has brought the role of corporate governance to the limelight. You can frame this line in different ways. The following are the major issues associated with corporate governance in India. Now this part has not been asked, but we will give this to the examiner. One, because it is just taking 1.5 line, 1.5 line it is taking. Second, it reflects that we are able to understand the situation. We are able to understand the importance of this question, why this has been asked. So definitely include such points. Now, moving on to the second part, that is the challenges associated with corporate governance in India. What are the challenges associated with corporate governance? Ethical considerations, insider tradings. Yes, that's right. First of all, most of the big corporates in your country, they are family based. So in the board of directors, family members are sitting. So proper scrutiny cannot happen. Plus you cannot go against a family member if he or she is doing something wrong or suggesting something. Other people who are on the board, they feel alienated and they cannot take any major action. All right, families are forming corporates in our country. Families have formed corporates in our country. Second, independent directors. SEBI has directly given rules that this much number of women directors should be there and these many independent directors should be there. But many companies do not comply with these norms. All right. Third, even when independent directors, they are appointed because they know somebody in the board of directors already. That's why they're appointed. So they're always very fearsome to come up with any new change because they feel that we might be laid off anytime. We might not have this job next year. We are on the board because of somebody's reference. Anything else? Insider trading, you've written in the comments, all of you, yes. Anything else that is there? There is a lot of power in the hands of managers or people at the top, and then they support their near and dear ones. You can give examples. Let's begin with the first one. And always while writing your points, you will write the strongest point first. Strongest points are which have some economic perspective, or the points for which you have some recent data available, or the points for which you have some regulation to quote. For example, yes, Khushbu, that's right. We will mention that case right now. Independent directors and gender equality. You can also say independent directors and inclusion of women in the board. So where are these rules coming from? Show off your knowledge there. Make sure it is not taking a lot of words, but write it, because as you go down in your body part, as you go down in your body paragraph, the length of your points will decrease. So the initial points should add weight to your answer, always. SEBI's 2015 listing obligations and disclosure requirements, LODR, they mandate a minimum share of independent and non-executive directors on the board of companies. I'm sure you know this. For those of you who do not know, write this down. Then, many a times requisite number of independent directors or women directors are not appointed. This is something we can say, that independent directors or members or women directors or members, they're not appointed. All right. But recent data has come that the number of companies who are resorting to such practices, that has gone down. Yes, glass ceiling is there for the women. There is a glass ceiling that the women have still to break. So recently there is this third edition of Survey of Corporate Governance in India. Have you read this? Third edition of Survey of Corporate Governance in India. They have given 5 points, and it has been launched by a director of SEBI, ex-chairman of SEBI, or chairman of SEBI basically. So by excellence enablers, it shows that number of companies which were in violation of this norm, it has fallen sharply in 2021 to 22. This is the latest data from previous week. And this is a welcome break from the rising trend in the previous 3 years. So the number of companies who were actually not appointing independent directors or women directors, that has gone down. So that's a welcome step. Add that to your points. That yes, this is a problem, but it is going. From the same report, they indicate that more women are making it to India's boardrooms. So total number of women directors has increased from 167 to 194. Even if you do not remember the figures, just mention about this Survey of Corporate Governance in India by excellence enablers. They show that independent directors, they are in more companies now, and women are making to boardrooms more. Do not write exact figures, you won't be able to remember, but at least mention this. Mention the survey. All right. So this was the case of your independent directors and gender equality. We have included both the points. All right. Because why we have included both the points? Because they're coming from the same rule. You can have a separate point for women as well if you want. All right. But we had a lot of points to make, so we've included them. You can have this for women as second point. Then give this second point regarding women as separate data. Yes, women participation has increased. Do not write it in raw format. Give the name of the survey. All right. Now second, independent directors, they are not independent. Independence of directors. So board members, board appointments are still by the way of word of mouth or fellow board member recommendations. And hence, independent members are not really independent. Also, under law, an independent director can be easily removed by promoters or majority shareholders. So do you think such a person will raise his or her voice? They might not. Usually when an independent director doesn't take the side with promoters' decision, they are removed from their position by promoters. So there is this functional problem. You have appointed independent directors. More and more companies have appointed such directors and members, but there is no security of tenure. So you can give this as a solution, that security of tenure, that should be assured by SEBI. This is something that we need an update in. This is something that we need a change in. All right. So yes, Khushbu, why are you typing this? Just make it more clear. Okay, I understood. Basically, in your live YouTube sessions, there is a delay of around 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes delay is there. That comes from YouTube itself. So that's why when I ask the question, I have to wait for a few seconds to get your answers back. Sometimes it creates a confusion. So third is insider trading. I think this is the easiest point for all of you. Does any one of you have an example to make here? Corporate insiders like officers, directors, and employees, by the virtue of their position, have access to confidential information. Many misappropriate that information to reap profits. SEBI lacks thorough investigative mechanism and a vigilant approach, due to which the culprits are able to escape, and this decreases trust of investors in our country. Let's say a company has to launch an IPO. and the information regarding that IPO is already available to, near and dear ones of these members. So that's not a transparent practice. So that's your insider trading. Moving on to the next point. Point number 4. Founder or promoter's extensive role. Why does founder or promoter has an extensive role? Because most big corporates in our country are family based. They are family run businesses. Many Indian businesses are old family establishments. With the growth of family and its business, there is an increase in inefficiencies and internal conflicts that threaten the continuity of business. So either there is an internal conflict between the family members, so other stakeholders, they are suffering that what do we do? These two people, they're not even talking to each other in the meeting. What do we do? Because they have some family feud. On the other hand, what happens if the family members, most of the times they're too close, they're just supporting each other's decision, and the other stakeholders, other shareholders have just a minority percentage. They do not have a big say. Yes, Khushbu, yes, you can write that. The concept of whistleblower. So family control also brings governance problems like lack of checks and balances, over executive decision making, and lack of transparent reporting. Also talk about minority shareholders being sidelined. If you look at these points can be explained in paragraphs also. But always try to give a heading and then write sub points under each heading. That will fetch you the best marks. In other case, give the heading, write in a paragraph. That is not, that is not very long. All right. And if you are getting a directly philosophical question or something you're not very sure about, there is a lot of subjectivity, and you can add body paragraphs and do justice to them, then go for that approach. But this one is the best approach because it appears neat. The examiner can read it. Finally, concentration of powers. Where is the concentration of powers? Ownership of corporations in India is still held in a few hands. There are just few businessmen in our country which hold most of the power. They have their branches in almost every sector of the country. So this leads to several governance. So company that is doing good in one area, they have their branches in the food sector also, in the dairy sector also, in all kind of sectors. So that harms the decision making. Also with this, because there are only few people at the top, few people in your entire country, they are leading major businesses. So what happens? There is a challenge of managers potentially enriching themselves at the cost of shareholders. For example, here you can give the example of ICICI Bank. You can give the example of ICICI Bank here. All right, approving loans for a family member. Then finally, non-compliance with disclosure norms. Here you can talk about transparency. Disclosure is not there from time to time. All right. Companies Act does provide clear instructions for maintaining and updating registers. But in reality, the minority shareholders have often suffered from irregularities in share transfers. So any other points that you can think of? Any other points from your side? Yes, Khushbu, Amit, Aman, Jacqueline. And if we don't have any other point to make, how will you conclude your answer? Will you give a way forward or will you summarize? Will you give a way forward or will you summarize? And what is your way forward? What is the solution for better corporate governance in our country so that scams don't happen, frauds don't happen, big tech giants, they do not fall, investor confidence in your country is maintained? How will you do that? Summarize and way forward. I'm looking for solutions here. Yes, Jacqueline, that's right. What is the way forward you will give? Proper regulation. Proper regulation is there. If you write proper regulation should be there, that means you're questioning SEBI and MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Can we talk about more implementation, effective auditing, more compliance? To bring more and more transparency in the code of conduct of organizations. Yes. Stricter norms. All right. And learning from past. Learning from the past, fallouts of big tech giants or edtech giants. Learning from past frauds and scams. And identifying the loopholes with the help of these scams, with the fallout of these companies. And learning from these loopholes, correcting those mistakes. Yes, audit committee. Yes, Khushbu. And you can say that corporate governance is very essential because it does not just relate to one business. It's not about one person running one company. If you have a company, it is not just about you. That you might pack off the company tomorrow and you will leave the country. No, it's not about you. It's about hundreds of people who are dependent on you, who are working in your company. It's about the confidence of investors who have funded your company. It's about that. And if one person leaves, if one company falls, then the entire ecosystem is disturbed. More investment does not come into the company. All right? People lose faith in the economic system or in how corporates function in the country. Yes, more system of checks and balances. So we are just concluding here. Way forward is not here. Way forward is what we have discussed. So in recent years, many scams, frauds, misappropriation of public money, and corrupt practices have taken place. And because of the doubtful practices of key executives and board members, confidence of investors and society has diminished. It does unmitigated damage when poor governance and bad business ethics is brought up, which casts a shadow across the entire ecosystem. See, writing the word ecosystem is very important. We are talking about the business ecosystem, starting from the idea of launching a product, a new product. That idea, then somebody launching a startup, then that startup getting the funding, everything from the zero. That is your ecosystem. Hence, effective and transparent corporate governance practices are, effective and corporate transparent governance practices must be implemented. We are not using the word must. Are important not just for one business, not just for these corporates, but for the country's economy as a whole. Activeness of shareholders. Yes, that is one of the solutions. Yes. More power to shareholders, at least more democratic powers, power to be able to take a stand. More system of checks and balances, more trusted conflict resolution experts. That's very good. Trusted conflict resolution experts. We need that. Yes. Yes, Khushbu, that's very effective there. Right in favor of corporate governance and emphasize on this part more and more. Because your businesses in a country where they earn money from, they are taking people's hard-earned money. So basically, they're not running for themselves. It is called corporate governance because they're actually taking a lot from the society, from a country. So it is not in the interest of one organization, does not belong to just the shareholders. It belongs to the people also. All right. You can talk about doctrine of trusteeship. Doctrine of trusteeship. Doctrine of trusteeship by Mahatma Gandhi. It says that we are just caretakers of people's wealth. No matter how rich we are, whatever money we have, it belongs to the people and we are just caretakers. So you can quote that. Quote doctrine of trusteeship in your answers in corporate governance. All right. So check that out, Google it. It will take just 5 minutes, but add that to your answers. So yes, that's all for today. And thank you for watching this entire series of descriptive answer writing. We got an overwhelming response regarding this, and I hope, and the entire EduTap's team hopes that you make it to the final list and we prepare for your interviews together. Your success is our goal and we are always up for it. So reach out to us anytime if you have any kind of anxiety, any kind of problems associated with your preparation at 8146 207 241. And if you have any feedback regarding this series. So my name is Surbhi. You can email us at hello@edutap.co.in. All right. You're welcome, all of you. And may the force be with you. All the very best for your exam. Just, come out with flying colors. Keep your anxiety aside, keep all the, doubts aside, and just rock in the exam. All right. My best wishes to all of you. Stay tuned to our channel. And yes, I'll be taking the responses now. PDF has not been uploaded. Aman, I'll look into that. All right, Khushbu, my pleasure, and all the very best to you. God bless you. You're welcome, Amit. Thank you so much, Jakan. That means a lot. And hoping for you to get successful. Hoping to see you all in the final list. All right, you're a beginner, so just watch all the videos regarding RBI Grade B preparation, or book a doubt session with us, or book a guidance session with us at this number. It's also available in our description, so for better guidance. Yes, for sure, Khushbu. We'll wait for you. All right, thank you all of you. I don't see more responses coming, so I will bid adieu to all of you. And take care. Hope to see you for interview preparation again. All right. Take care and stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't subscribed it yet, do that right now and like the video after signing off.